Welcome in, guys, and I am back to do my NFL Week 3 recap. We started off with the Thursday night game. We had the Giants on the road to the 49ers. Danny Dimes threw for 22 out of 32 yards, 177 yards. Brock Purdy had 25 out of 37 throws, 310 yards, 2 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey had 18 carries, 2 touchdowns. And the 49ers get the job done. 12 to 30, and the 49ers get the win. Going on to the Sunday and Saturday. Sunday games, we have the Bills versus the Commanders. The Bills going into this game were 1-1. Commanders were 2-0 at this point. Going into this game, the Bills get the job done though. Josh Allen threw for 20 out of 30. He had 20 out of 32 throws, 218 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Stephon Diggs at 8 reps and 111 yards, and the Bills win 37-3. It was a huge shutout for the Bills. The Bills defense only gave up 3 points. But again, I look at the Commanders. I know they're 2-0, and I know I'm not a fan of their head coach Ron Rivera, but I'm a fan of Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy, he's a great offensive coordinator, and the Commanders getting him this summer was a fucking steal. The Commanders gained Eric Bieniemy from the Chiefs. Again, he was part of those 2 Super Bowl wins for the past 4 years with the Chiefs, where he was the offensive coordinator, and he had a big role in that. And for them to bring in the Commanders to bring him in, I'm like, bro, you should bring Eric Bieniemy in as a head coach. Like, he's better than being an offensive coordinator. Like, bring him in. Imagine if he was the head coach of this team. Instead of a 61-year-old Ron Rivera, you have a young, offensive head coach in Eric Bieniemy. You can have him as a head coach. Get rid of Ron Rivera. He's going to get the most out of Sam Howell this year. I think, in my opinion, I think he's going to get the best out of Sam Howell this year. You're going to see what he's going to, because he's a great offensive coordinator, and I think he deserves a head coaching job. There's a lot of teams in the league that need new head coaches, like the Bears and so many more. Commanders included, that they could do with an Eric Bieniemy, and wherever he goes in 2024, I think it's a steal for anybody, and the NFL needs to watch out because he is a great talent. Anyway, back onto the games. I just wanted to just give Eric Bieniemy his flowers. Onto the rest of the games, we have the Titans versus the Browns. The Browns win 3-26. Deshaun Watson threw 27 out of 33, 289 yards, 2 touchdowns. Cooper had 7 reps, 116 yards and 1 touchdown. And it was just an easy day for the Browns. And again, please start Will Levis. I'm tired of this whole sitting behind. Let him sit behind and look on an iPad. How the fuck is that going to have him learning? Why would you draft a highly rated quarterback in the second round and in the second round and then one in the third round last year to not play either for them? I don't understand the logic in the Titans front office. Why would you draft in back-to-back years 2 quarterbacks in Malik Willis and Will Levis and not play any of them in your first opening 3 games? It doesn't make any fucking sense. What is Ryan Tannehill going to do? What's Ryan Tannehill going to do in this team to make them better? You've tried Ryan Tannehill. The experiment is over. Give it to somebody like Will Levis, or give it to somebody like Malik Willis or Will Levis. Let Will Levis or Malik Willis have a chance. Then we have the Saints versus the Packers tonight. I've got to say, I'm a fan of Jordan Love, but you can see he should have been starting from day one. Jordan Love should have been starting from 2020. He should have been starting when he got drafted in 2020, because you can tell that those 4 years he was sitting on his ass, just learning behind Rodgers did not help him at all, because the fucking cheeseheads front office like, oh, we want to go all in with Aaron Rodgers, but we're going to still have Allen Lazard, who is he's not the guy that's going to get you to a Super Bowl. We're going to have Jeff Cobbs and all these other fucking guys. No, you should have got rid of Aaron Rodgers, and then you should have had Jordan Love, and then you build around him after that. No, but you have him on the bench for 4 years to just sit behind Rodgers, who was past his best after 2020. You should have started Jordan Love in 2021. That's when you should have started, not fucking 3-4 years later. He went mid in this game, but The Saints defense was good. They looked good in this game, but ultimately the Saints got the job. The Packers got the job to 17 to 18, and then next week this Thursday, it's a primetime game against the Lions at Lambeau Field. I think it's at Lambeau Field. So let's see, Jordan Love versus Jared Goff. Then we had the Chargers versus the Vikings. The Vikings are now 3-0 starting this season, and you gotta think Kevin O'Connell. Is there kind of a bit of a... Is he on the hot seat right now? Because again, he had that great debut season, that 13-4 record last year. Comes into this year, bottom of the NFC North in a bad division. 0-3 now with the Bears, and you know that 13-4 winning record last year is just a myth at this point. Brandon Staley needed this window, 28-24. Justin Herbert threw for 40 out of 47 yards, 405 yards, 3 touchdowns. Justin Herbert had a great game, probably one of his best games of the season so far. Then we had the Broncos versus the Dolphins, and it was just a demolition. I am loving, and I will say this, but I am loving Mike McDaniel as a head coach. I fucking love this man. Like, yes, he acts goofy. Yes, he is corny, but he gets his players working from it. All of that roster works for him. They will die on the sword for this man, and he's getting the best out of Tua. Tua's having some, in his opening 3 games, having some great showings. Broncos, again, much as you can tell that Russell Wilson is washed, and George Patton should be fired for having sanctioning this fucking Russell Wilson deal last year. But the Dolphins win 20-70. Then we had the Falcons versus the Lions. I talked about it in depth. I'm not going to go over it though. But 6-20 to the Lions. Then we had the Texans versus the Jags. We had C.J. Stroud versus Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence didn't look good in the game, but C.J. Stroud has 20 out of 30 throws, 289 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he got his first win as a starting quarterback. So C.J. Stroud got his first NFL win as a starter, 37-17, and a good win for DeMeco Ryan as well. Patriots versus the Jets, 15-10. The Patriots getting the win. Then we have the Colts versus the Ravens. Anthony Richardson had a concussion in week 2, so he couldn't play. So Minshew Minshew played this game because Anthony Richardson was injured. Minshew had 227 yards, 1 touchdown. Moss had 22 carries. He had a good game, Moss, and the Colts win 32-19. Then we had the Panthers versus the Seahawks. Seattle win 33 out of 27. Then we have Bears football. Chicago Bears are back, and it was a shutout. It was a shutout. It was done before halftime. Really, it was going to 35-0 in the first half, 41-10, and I think it's time, Bears fans. I know some Bears fans will agree with me on this one, but some of the delusional Bears fans, drop Justin Fields. It's time to drop Justin Fields. I think it's time to cut your losses with Justin Fields. Look for a quarterback in 2020. Look for a quarterback in 2024. If you're gonna go for a tank, you're 3-0. Keep on tanking, guys, and find yourself a quarterback. Because this Justin Field experiment has failed. The GM has failed him. Ryan Poles has failed him. Everyone's saying, King Poles. He's not fucking King Poles. He's failed a quarterback. The offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy's an idiot, and Matt Eberflus, let's hire a defensive head coach when everybody in the league is a offensive-minded head coach. Let's hire a defensive guy. Bears football! But yeah, Chiefs win 41-10, and Taylor Swift had a good day, so good for her, I guess. Cowboys versus Arizona. Cowboys, an off day for Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, 16-28 for the Cardinals. The Cardinals are up and running for the season. Then we had the Raiders versus the Steelers. The Raiders get a win, 23-18. Fire Matt Canada. I just want to put that in there, fire Matt Canada. And then we had the Monday night games last night. We had the Eagles on the road to Tampa Bay, and the Eagles win 25-11. Jalen Hurts threw for 29 out of 37 yards, 277 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Baker midfield had 15 out of 25 throws, 146 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Swift has 16 carries and 130 yards. And then the last game on Monday night, the Rams versus the Bengals. And this, oh my god, this game on primetime, this double header. The game I watched, the Rams-Bengals. And then I watched, obviously, the Eagles-Tampa Bay after I watched this. This was one of the, again, both teams offensively wasn't at their best. You had Joe Burrow, who had that injury in preseason back in July. You can see he's not 100%. He started this game. He was missed. His rhythm was off all night. He had a couple of good, decent passes, but he wasn't the Joe Burrow we've seen the last couple of seasons. If it wasn't for McPherson getting those field goals and converting those field goals, the Rams should have won this game. But Burrow had 26 out of 49 throws, 259 yards, 1 interception. Stafford had 16 throws out of 33, 269 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. And I'm going to say the Rams were great in coverage. I think their defense was really solid last night, the Rams. It was a really good, solid unit last night. So that is my week 3 NFL recap. Leave you guys thoughts on what happened in week 3 in the comments, and peace.